Hey peeps, Platy's back. My hubby, Knick-Knack.
Hi, I get to be Knick-Knack.
So, last video he wasn't here because he had to work, which I was really sad about, but he is here now, and we can talk a little bit about Tourette's and migraines for me, and also what some stereotypes are that we have found. Sorry, you can't really see me very well. I'm trying to get both of us in the same video. Chicken. So,
That would be Tourette's.
that would be one of my tics. There are a lot of stereotypes about Tourette's where people think that you swear a lot. That one's not actually as common. It's about 10% of the Tourette population, I suppose you could say, is the kind that swear or has a tic that is a swear word. But those are the ones that are a little bit more vocal, and those are the ones that are often thought of more. But most of us don't actually have that tic where we will swear. Not to say that people who have that tic are bad. They don't have really a lot of control over what they say. It just happens. I mean, Tourette's, you don't really have a say in what you say most of the time. So there are also some stereotypes, and I have seen this in my life in the last year in particular, since finding out about my Tourette's, where people have said, "Oh, you have Tourette's? Why don't you do the weird face winky thing? Why aren't you blinking? And why aren't you making scrunchy faces?" And a lot of people will also associate that as a typical Tourette thing, or people rocking back and forth, or things like that, which is not entirely accurate either. I mean, there are people who have Tourette's who will wink their face and they will scrunch their face, but it's not common it's not common, but it's not something that every person who has Tourette's has. For example, one of my tics is that I meow. I may have mentioned this in a previous video. Sorry, my hubby and my little boy, my little royal, he's adorable. I will meow some days I won't. Tics vary. I will have days where I'm more vocal and days where have more motor tics. Obviously today is one of the more vocal tic days. One of my tics is that I apologize for ticking. And I point out when I tic, because I'm more aware of my tics than a lot of other people are. And I'm also learning a lot of what my tics are, seeing as I was just recently diagnosed with it. I was diagnosed shortly after I got married, which was last year. And my husband was actually with me in the doctor's office when I got my diagnosis. So I'd like to mention some of his thoughts, or not mention, but let him give some of his thoughts.
I kind of explained a few things I noticed, like the meows and the occasional head twitch.
You didn't mention them, I did. You said I mentioned. Anyway. Anyway.
Are we going to have to redo this one?
No.
All right.
Maybe. We'll see.
But yeah, I didn't really think too much about it at the time. It just kind of explained a lot of things that neither of us really had an explanation for at first.
Yep. So it explained, as he mentioned, it explained a couple of things. And as I mentioned in a previous video, my nephew had Tourette's, which is how I got my diagnosis, because he had tics that I had. My tics have since changed, and his tics have since changed, which is something that happens with Tourette's, is you don't have the same tic forever and ever and ever. You can develop new tics as well. One of my new tics that I've developed is when I'm holding my little one, my royal, I kiss him multiple times on the head, which some people think is really, really cute. It's a tic, and so long as it doesn't do anything to hurt my baby, I suppose I'm okay with that. It's one of those things that with Tourette's I'm a little worried about being a parent is when I hold him, I'm worried that I'll tick out and that I might do something that makes him uncomfortable, my son. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in some further videos along the road. And we'll be talking about things like breastfeeding with Tourette's and pregnancy and labor with Tourette's. And one of these videos I'm going to want to go into a little bit more in depth with migraines and how my migraines interact with my Tourette's. And dating with Tourette's before I even knew that I had Tourette's. That's a fun topic that we'll go over eventually. Heck.
Right, Royal is starting to wiggle a lot.
Yeah, Royal is a wiggly little boy. He is a month and a half. And as you can see, he is a little fussy. Which, while he's a good baby, is pretty normal for him to be fussy when he's tired. And having family over the last little while was pretty stimulating for him, so he's pretty tired. And it was pretty stimulating for me, which made my tics worse, which is something that a lot of people struggle with, is when they're under stress or when there's a lot of people around, it can make the tics worse. Poor little guy, he's also eats too quickly, too much, and will spit up. So, hubby will take care of that.
I have a baby to clean up.
Yep, poor kid. Poor kid. And we just washed that blanket too. That's one of the things you get to deal with babies, is lots and lots of laundry. Anyway, so if you have any questions, subscribe, comment. If you have any things to share about Tourette's or even migraines, feel free to comment. We'll try to keep the videos so it's not just me monologuing or talking about anything, just strictly me talking. I'll try to find some fun things. If you guys have ideas or things that you want me to discuss, or things that you kind of want to see, like how I change my baby's diaper with Tourette's, or things like that, feel free to comment in the comment section. I don't know where else you would comment. And I'll try to answer things as they come in. And hopefully this was informative and not super boring. But we are going to sign off. Platy out.